Let's do it.
Yeah.
I just went live, guys.
Yeah.
The whole world can see us and listen to us and see what's going on.
Oh, that's scary.
So, welcome world. This is Learn Squared channel, I guess.
Hey.
And we're just gonna have some fun here. We're just gonna review some work. Very similar style as we used to do it um, during the mentorships, and I plan to do that a little more often than irregular as now. Um, so let's get on it, man. So I don't have a structure for this because normally what we do is, when we used to meet every meeting, we would just have a proper structure. We would go who's first and who's next, and then switch it around the next week, and it all would be related to homework. But now, since we don't have any homework, so we're just gonna, go with the flow and see what's up. And thanks for showing up, guys. I really appreciate it. Maybe
Yeah,
maybe
Thanks
let's
for having us.
maybe let's
Yeah.
let's put you in a tough spot and let you guys introduce yourselves because no one else can see my command center where I see all the names and everyone who's in the chat and everyone who's in this meeting, everyone who's with us on GoToMeeting. So let's go ahead and let's do a round of who's here.
Okay, so I'm Elias. I'm Elias Ragonetti, and yeah, I was in the Learn Squared course with Maciej.
Yes.
It was great.
Next student.
This is so awkward.
I could go next. What's up, everybody? My name's John. I'm going to be here moderating for a bit. We also have Andre Abraменko. How do you pronounce that?
Hey,
Hey, Andre.
Andrei Abraменко. Hey, John.
Thank you.
Nice.
So I was working as a 3D artist for 3 years now, and now I'm trying to get into concept art stuff. So yeah, Learn Squared was a big thing for me. So yeah, that's it.
Awesome.
By the way, if you felt
And
that
Eli,
the
good.
class sucked really bad, just speak up. I don't mind. I want to hear bad things too. Just so you know, I'm open to every critique here. So
We also have Mark Kent here.
Hello.
Who's pretty awesome work.
Yes, I too participated in Maciej's Futuristic Character Design, and it was awesome. Hard, but awesome.
cool.
Right.
And Frederick's here.
For Derek.
I don't think he has a mic here.
Anyways, he was my student
Hello?
too, and I'm pretty sure he liked it.
He said, "I have a mic, but it doesn't work." So I
Oh,
could
okay.
I could moderate him while he's here.
All right, cool. So, all right, so let's get on it. And yeah, we had like 8 week course together. We would see each other weekly and talk about homework and talk about the class itself. And one thing I've noticed is that the course turned out to be pretty challenging, but that's a good thing. You want to challenge yourself, obviously. But then again, it also sparked some of the things that I need to fix with the course and I want to fix with the course. And that's why, for instance, the video about the skin shader, that's the first step, and it's just gonna be constantly updated. So you guys who already purchased the course, you basically have more updates coming your way as we go. I just need to free up enough time to get things going a little faster, but it'll be there. you'll be there 100%. So let's get to the essence of why we're meeting here, and basically what I want to do with these streams is invite all of my professional package students, or mentorship students, and whether it's previous courses or current courses, we'll just go as we go, and make it more frequent. Show up time to time, and maybe once a couple of weeks, or maybe once a week at some point. We'll see. Um, and then just have fun. Just look at your work, and whether it's work done for the course, whether it's a meeting in between mentorship sessions, and you might want to have questions at that point. All those things, inside of this. And I want to make this public so people can look at it and see what we're doing here, just to get get an essence of what and how we do those things. And also, I feel like it's nice to show a little bit of what we're doing, and also expose your work, because frankly, a lot of cool stuff that you guys are doing is here. So, and yeah, I wanna make sure that you're not only getting the lectures and feedback, but also a little bit of exposure, if any. I hope I can give some exposure to you guys by running those streams or sharing your work on social media and whatnot. So, all right, cool. So let's get on it, and I'll start with Mark's latest stuff. I'm pretty fucking impressed, because I remember when you started, and you didn't know anything about Fusion 360. Is that correct, right?
Yeah, I was a noob.
Tell me how you like it now, or is there anything or limitations you see, or how do you use it? Do you use it for your personal work now? 'Cause, obviously for personal work, I can see you already doing it, or professional work.
I'll definitely, use it in professional work, to get started, or to, depending on the project. But yeah, I love Fusion. It's really easy to use. The interface is just, it's a no-brainer. And what I like about it is I can actually use it with other programs. So like, to get some of the more organic shapes that you see in that one little bot there,
Mm-hmm.
is actually started in ZBrush.
Yeah.
And I got, just kind of pushed forms around till I felt like I, had a starting point, and then, I kind of split them off, and then I remeshed them, so I get the lowest poly count, and then I brought them back into Fusion, and then I can start, doing stuff with it. And I really like that kind of approach. Now you can do that in Fusion in the sculpt environment. You can kind of push the bodies around. But I found that this was a little bit more organic for my workflow, and so this will definitely be something that I'll be doing, or investing more time in learning, or kind of perfecting in the future. I really dig it.
So you basically would do like a low res ZBrush sculpt,
Yep.
and then export it in
Yep,
quads,
yep.
right? Like Z remesher or something.
Yeah, try to get the lowest, and so it's easier to work
Yeah.
in the sculpt environment. And then once I had the form that I liked, then I could switch it back over to the modeling, and then just go crazy with booleans and all this other stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
Yeah, that's one of the parts that I really like about that whole workflow, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to sort of introduce it briefly, because like 3ds Max workflow towards Fusion. I know a lot of you guys asked, why not just starting in Fusion 360, and this is the reason why. Like you can definitely get those organic shapes and forms in your sculpts, or in your inside Fusion 360, but the UI right now is not there yet. I feel like it's being improved every time. Every time I see update, there is something new in the software, and it's freaking amazing. And when you just to show you what we're actually talking about, right here when we go. By the way, you guys can see my screen, right?
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
So just to show you here, it's right now you don't see that sculpting thing right here, but you can create a form and then you'll be able to see it. So you just draw it and it's right there. And the way it works is because it's surface environment, you cannot just move it around. You just have to edit form. And once you do that, you can just pretty much do whatever you want with it. And once you're in that thing, you can actually, I believe, add like loops and stuff. Let's see.
Hmm.
Edit
Increase
form.
it.
Yeah, I haven't played around with the with this here because one thing that that is still missing there, it's being improved, but it's still missing is shortcuts, which makes everything that you want to do you have to click. So that's the
Yeah.
one part that is not really that great. But once you, let's say you have this, all you got to do is right click and convert to new body, and then you have editable model, And this is exactly what you were talking about, getting that ZBrush model in and importing it inside of Fusion 360, and then you can
Hmm.
switch it to model, or it's a body object, right? And once you're
Hmm.
there, it's just like, let's just draw some box here, and you can
Yep.
just cut in, and it's that simple.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. It's been
Yeah, I find it's a very fluid, creative,
yeah.
like it's not like I'm totally intimidated. I don't come from a 3D background, so like just looking at 3ds Max, I'm like, what does everything do? So this is for me. This is just, um, and hopefully, I'll learn a bit more with like 3ds Max, and there's a bunch of plugins. Like I have the Corona plugin that I want to start playing with, but this is a great start.
Yep.
Thanks to you and thanks to your course, it kind of lit the fire as a starting point, really.
Yeah.
Some,
No, yeah,
somebody said
yeah. Go ahead.
somebody said it would be interesting to see the initial ZBrush sketch for this Walker mech if you have it.
I'd have to dig it up. It's pretty just it would be just blobby, and it's basically all I did was I just started from a polysphere. I don't even think I dynameshed it, and I just basically just kind of moved it around, and then using the masking tool, I just masked a part off, and then kind of created a shell, if you will, and then from there, created a subtool, and then go ahead, remesh that part,
Mm-hmm.
and then just brought it into Fusion. So and then I could go ahead and kind of piece everything back together again. Some of the stuff was created right in Fusion after I got the initial kind of like language, I guess. So some of it's kind of boxy, some of it's kind of organic. So I'm not quite happy with it, but it was
Yeah,
it was a good first start.
let me help you with that. All right. So what I would do here is, because I like generally where it's going, right? But one thing that I
Yeah.
don't like is how flimsy those legs feel, especially at the bottom.
Yeah.
So I would try to fix it somehow, maybe by introducing some kind of counterbalance into the structure. So maybe the leg itself could kind of go a little bit backwards like this.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it feels that the structure itself, the structure of the foot, right, is
Hmm.
much stronger. Because right now, what it's missing is you can see that it's just like very flimsy. Another thing that I would maybe try to fix is the way it's connecting here in this area.
Hmm.
Maybe like put some extra work into how the mechanism works. Because right now it feels like it's just attached rigidly. Even though you're suggesting this,
Hmm.
you have those bigger sort of circular or cylindrical elements here that would suggest that this is
Hmm.
actually rotating around. What is happening is because you've added same material everywhere. It feels like it's a one piece, right? So maybe another option
Yeah.
could be where you just take this whole part of the leg or the foot itself. Oops. I hope I didn't crush it. Damn you, Photoshop! No, actually, it
no.
works. Yeah. So let's take what's happening here? Wrong layer. All right, there we go. So you take this and you like maybe make it darker, like a different material, you know, much like you have
Yeah.
with the cockpit and some interior parts. And I
Mhm.
would kind of make this this like all across. So like when you have those hydraulics here, maybe that would be a good idea to have them in a different color as well, so that
Mhm.
you get to read what's going on a little more. It's not just not just like one material or across, but it is just a little more than that. So, and I also it was my comment to your previous work when we were reviewing your helmets and armor and everything during the course.
Mhm.
Um, there is I wish there was a little better balance of sharp versus soft. And I know what I'm going to do looks easy. I know that, but the truth is, it's pretty hard to do inside of Fusion. So you can always do it in
Yeah.
Photoshop, you know, like. But
Yeah.
if you can go back and fix those things, that would be probably ideal. So I would kind of want to have a little bit of sharpness here and there, you know. So it's fine to have that curve right here, but maybe it ends where this little element is here, you know,
Yeah.
and you get a little bit sharper um, curve, and it's like a balance between roundness that is visible everywhere and having a little bit of that sharpness here and there. I think it's gonna help an overall read of what it is and how it feels as an object, you know, and how
Yeah.
it's connected. Because right now, you can see there's like this weird shape that is appearing here, but when you connect it a little closer, you get to feel that okay, those parts are now together. And what's happening here now? You can start adding those little little holes and rivets, you know,
Mhm.
and then it feels like okay, those things are now together as one piece. Same goes to those attachments here. So I would probably want to either smooth the um, the transition and then maybe make one harsher here surface. That would be pretty much flat. And everyone is more
Mhm.
smooth, you know, so that it connects a little better. So it's not all rounded as it is right now. But that would be like, and I could go all across pretty much, you know, like I could pretty much go and start fixing it everywhere. But I'm just showing you on an example where those fixes work. And if you just kind of continue, like just review the work, review your design, and just test it. Maybe do like quick overpaints like this because overpainting is the quickest way to get those things fixed. And once you overpaint it, you will see okay, maybe I want to fix that area here too, or maybe you know that knee part has to be fixed as well. So just you know, spend a little extra time on this design, I would say. But otherwise, it's cool. I mean, it's a big progression from you know from having to know nothing about the software and not using it
Mhm.
for the design, and then using it for the design. The trickiest part, and I was saying that quite many times, is switching from 2D to 3D, because in 2D you can fake a lot of shit, you know? Like you can just I'm just going to draw and I'm not going to care about anything else, you know?
Yeah.
In 3D you have to look at it from pretty much every single angle, because if you change camera settings, like the lens settings, it's going to look different than you know if you use 50 millimeter
Yeah.
and 100 millimeter. It's totally different read, and if something is
Right.
wrong in the design in 3D itself, then it's gonna be exposed right away. So
Yeah. It's funny you said that because actually a while ago I did like a 2D photo bash, little concept
mm-hmm.
of something very similar. And I'm like, and that's what it's inspired me to, just try to model it, just figure a way to model it.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually ran into that, that issue of like, how am I going to do this? Like, how is it going to look from behind, and how am I going to, make this work? And so I started thinking about, how things actually connect and join. So it's an eye opener, going from like 2D, sculpting your own 2D concepts.
Yeah.
To
Yeah,
your point.
it's totally different. That's why I like when I was starting using 3D, I felt like I need to start slowly with boxes, and that's what I did. Like it's just boxes, because it's just
Yeah.
difficult, it's totally
Yeah.
different read, and yeah. Anyways, that'll be it, man.
Cool.
I think that's gonna give you a little bit of things to think about and work on.
Sure.
I like it
Thanks
though.
for the
It's
feedback.
Yeah, man. Always. I like what I'm seeing though. Like, it's much more complex than what you did for the class. There's more things going on
Hmm.
here, so I really dig it. Cool. I'll just go as I see.
Cool.
So I see this now, and I'll work on that one, guys. This is Frederic's. I guess this is your final um, final image that you did for
Yeah,
the class.
yeah.
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you.
Awesome.
Yay!
Yeah, I try to add the fireworks. And hey, everyone. I try to add the fireworks you told me to add on the forums.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah,
I
and
think
this
you
is the
missed
final.
something. Hold on, I'll fix it right away for you. I just need to find the right image for it. There we go.
Fireworks.
Yes. All right, so we did discuss the design during the class. I'm thinking if there's anything else that has to be addressed with the design itself. I mean, there's always room for improvements, right? If you look closely, you'll find
Yeah,
things to improve. I'll tell you what I do like what you did with the materials is the visor itself, like the eyes. They look really cool. I really like what
yeah,
you did there. And if I read it correctly, you have a semi-transparent or translucent thing here, right? And then there's underneath object that is casting light. Is that correct?
yeah. Like this material in Corona, light emitting. Yeah,
Yeah. The emitter. Exactly. Yeah, that's what I figured, and it's because it's scattering really nicely, and it's creating a really cool result. So, I mean, maybe there could be like that's what's sparking some more ideas. Maybe if this helmet actually had a full cover of the face like this, that could be an interesting
yeah,
look, where you just pretty much cover the whole face, not just um, not just like a partial face, but maybe this whole thing could actually be animated too. So imagine that this is built from some kind of let's see, let me pick a little different brush here. So oops, let's say you have like cut lines that go like, I don't know, like this.
yeah.
Oops, that looks like a smiley face. Or maybe it just goes all across like this. So you have those cut lines, and what happens is maybe those are like parts, and they kind of collapse inwards. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
it would like, let me just cut it into pieces. It'll be easier to. So like this is one piece that disappears, or like hides itself, and this is another piece that hides itself. Like you could figure out an animation out of it, you know? And when you have that, did you use 3ds Max for this or?
Maya and 3ds Max, yeah.
Okay, so I haven't covered that in the course itself, but you can actually with the linking in 3ds Max, that's actually in the course where you
Yeah.
can link objects together. When you use the timeline, or you use use the timeline. Sorry, I need to drink water.
Hey,
Sorry.
Maciej, I'm gonna head out.
Yeah, no worries.
All right, all right, thanks. See you
See
guys.
ya.
I'll see you stuff.
Damn.
Later, John.
Bye.
I see.
You see, I was so upset John is leaving preemptively. So when you use those links, what you can do is using timeline and key, like we key the timeline, you can move pieces around,
Yeah,
but if they're
yeah.
linked, you can make the movements linked so that you can create like a sequence of animations, which will like, let's say
I saw the Vitaly Bulgarov, the animation from Transformers.
yeah,
Are
exactly.
awesome.
That's what I'm referring to. So, but
Yeah.
like, what is this telling me right now is maybe this part here could be a little larger, you know, and feel more like almost like a medieval helmet at that point. So it's covering like the whole face, but it's also reaching down more towards the neck itself. So that could
Yeah.
be an interesting. Because I remember when we were discussing this, I was kind of trying to find where this could go, and you know I wasn't sure myself, and it's a it's a process of discovery, you know. When you play with your designs, you get to discover when you do changes like this. Like you come up with one idea, and maybe like this animation thing that I just discussed, and then
Yeah.
you discover that damn, like I could actually use this for this and that. So you see what I mean? And like this maybe doesn't look so great, but when you keep that lower piece right here, it might actually work pretty well, you know? Maybe only this
Yeah.
part is opening. Maybe only this part and the eyes themselves like could be cut in here, and maybe they open up until that point too. But this stays covered. You know, it almost feels like the mouth itself is covered. So you like when she speaks, you can only see the face movements or face muscle movements,
Yeah.
but you're not really seeing exactly the lip movement in it. So, but that's what I was thinking about something like this.
Yeah. I think I will try to make the animations like
Cool.
of the helmet. Yeah.
Yeah, you should try. I'm sure it could turn out into something really interesting. You know, especially with like a sharper shapes like this, where you have a lot of like those
Yeah.
triangular shapes going on. What you could do is you have much more leeway for experimenting. It's similar to what Vitaly was doing. Like when you look at, I mean, in his animations, there's a lot of stuff that makes sense because he's a cyborg himself. So whatever he draws is not creativity; it's just pure calculation. But there's much more leeway in terms of like what you can get away with when you draw, like when you animate. Like maybe some pieces don't have to exactly work together. Even the Transformers film animations, they are not by any means physically accurate in terms of like what fits in the damn car or not, right? It's just like let's just
Yeah.
throw in a lot of shit and see what happens, and this is how it basically looks. So, but there's a lot of small pieces and triangular pieces or pieces that have a lot of those moving elements, very sharp elements. You can get away with a lot of stuff. So that's pretty much that's what I would say about if you want to start animating, and maybe those changes could work in terms of getting you like an interesting twist to this design, you know? Because it feels like, oh, you know what it feels like? Like a medieval version of Ant-Man. Like a sci-fi medieval mix of Ant-Man. But that's because of the eyes and the structure of the texture you have on the eyes. If you would remove that and maybe do something different, then it would look different. But I'm not saying you should. I think it looks cool. So,
Awesome.
by the way, I'm saving those files, and after we finish the stream, either later tonight or tomorrow, I'll ask Andrew and John to email you the Dropbox so you can take those overpaints and everything.
Awesome. I really enjoyed your class, and I already signed up for a new one. Can't wait.
Money. No, I'm joking.
Awesome. Thanks.
No, it's cool. Cool, man. Did you sign up for professional or for like the regular?
Professional, of course.
Damn. The environment class?
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
Yeah,
I'll
man.
see you in class then. It's gonna be fun.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, we're gonna do more of those though, by the way. So we're probably gonna be talking on the regular basis with you guys. So it's up to you if you have time. You want to show up and be here. All that jazz, you know. Cool. So now I have Andrei's sketches, right?
Yep.
So
Yeah. So
walk me through.
So basically, I'm trying to practice every skill exposed during courses in separation, and those one are for design, and there is arguably not that much to talk about, but if those could be the basis for you to speak more about how to approach studying design and I don't know, more efficient techniques to study design and how to think about design. Yeah, so
there is few things. There is few things to think about when you talk about design. Let's put it this way. It's a complicated topic because for one, you can say design is something you learn over time, but there are rules to the design that you have to obey, you know. And I personally, there's a lot of rules that I use when I paint or when I create that I understand, but intuitively because of observation and how I observe environment, nature, and you know, really great design work, right? But for the longest time, like personally, for instance, for the longest time, I haven't considered myself a designer ever, because I didn't feel like I deserved that title. Because designer means you can design something that's functional, and it also means not only a functional thing, but you understand the rules of the design, right? So there's quite a few rules that you know you have to understand. It's you know, the size, balance, hierarchy, whether it's you know, geometrical or organic thing. There's like each of those rules you could break down into smaller chunks, and each of those smaller chunks into even smaller aspects, you know. So all of those things matter, and the more you know, the better. The more you understand those rules, the better. So, for instance, the simplest design rule is if something is. Let me just make this white, for instance. If something is large and then you have something that is small, right? The large thing will feel heavier and larger. That's like the simplest and most obvious rule, right? But it also can implicate the distance. So this large item will feel like it's closer than this smaller item here, right? This smaller box. The smaller box feel like it's further away. And also it depends like how you present those two boxes. Like if you draw them in planar like this, so there's no perspective to it, what's going to happen is it's going to look like they're on the same plane, especially when you draw it like this, right? Like a side view. But if you decide to draw them in perspective, so for instance, you just kind of draw it like this. Just even adding this thing here, you know. Let's see where. Yeah, so the vanishing point would be behind that box, so you wouldn't see any of the faces, other faces of this. So basically, you can read. Okay, the larger box is closer. You know, it's all depends how you present it to the viewer and how to look. This is like the simplest rule, right? There's a lot of different rules. One thing, for instance, that I like to do and I like to approach my work is I like to have a lot of I like to have a balance between large and small, right? I don't want to be in a situation where my design has equal amounts of big shapes and equal amounts of small shapes. I don't want to have a situation where you're going to have a distance between, let's say you have two little boxes like this, right? And then you create single thing you add in your design has the same distance to each other. Like I wanna avoid that. Unless I want to create a repetition, and then it matters, right? If you want to create a repetitive pattern in your design, then it really matters. So for instance, when I look at your sketches, right? Like the suit underneath the plates here. You can see those stripes that basically are telling me it's some kind of, I don't know whether it's a fabric or maybe those are metal pieces that are equally sized, right? And in this situation, it works pretty well because you limited it to very small area like this, right? So by itself, it reads itself as a pattern. Okay, you know what I mean? It's not like
Yeah.
So this here, it reads itself as a pattern, not as a separate or a cluster of small things, right? It feels like a pattern, and that's good. And I think like when I look at your you know, your efforts here, I actually like it a lot. There's a lot of cool things here, a lot of cool designs. One technical um, one technical thing that I would change in what you do here is the way you use lines. This feels good as a sketch, right? But for clarity, you might want to have a little different weight of lines, or maybe a little bit of better clarity in terms of how you're sketching.
Yeah, I totally see. I mean, those were personally for me, and I didn't mean to show it actually. So yeah.
That's no, it's fine. Like,
those are just as practice. Yeah, practice.
yeah, that's cool. I mean, for as a sketch itself, it's great. Like I wouldn't say I wouldn't do many changes here in terms of how it's sketched, right? Maybe just maybe work a little bit on the line weight. You know, I would keep the stronger lines. You have a lot of strong lines everywhere here on this, for instance, this sketch, right? I would maybe limit the really strong, dark, thick lines to places where you want to create a lot of contrast. So that's another design rule, right? Like if you want to have your eyes go in one direction, right? You want to create a lot of contrast there. Your eyes will naturally look towards something that is very contrasty. So when you design your suit, for instance, right, and you want to have you want to create focus points. You don't want to have your eyes travel all around, but you want to focus. Okay, the focus points of the suit is the face mask, or maybe when you see Iron Man, right, the focal point are his heart, right, and his eyes, because that's what you're supposed to see. And when you look at Iron Man, you will see that it's glowing, right? That those parts are glowing and are creating the strongest contrast when you look at the character, and your eyes will automatically look at those areas, the eyes and the heart, you know. the heart mechanism that he has. I don't remember how it's called. I'm such a terrible fan of pop culture. Um, Apart from that, maybe some of the proportions, like the length of hands, like the body proportions, maybe a little bit of that could be fixed. I believe the hands should be slightly longer. I may be wrong though. Like maybe
Yeah, basically painted trans 3D stuff. Yeah.
yeah. Just but that's like minor things.
Hey,
And
hello.
yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
But yeah, those are minor things though. Like hand proportions. Actually, if you think about it, a lot of minor things combined together create a bigger thing, and that can increase or decrease readability or the total effect, right? So yeah, I used to say just recently I've been saying that a lot is when you work on something, when you create a design for a game, or when you work on a character, or just whatever that is, right? Whether it's for client or for yourself, when you feel like you've done 100%, it usually means you've done 75% or so, and you're missing that 25% that is required to impress someone, because that 75% will get you to a place where, okay, it feels like a good thing, it looks really good, and it's cool, but when you reach that 100%, or even if you surpass that 100%, make it 105%, that's when you get to Vitaly level, and the only way to do it is just to put that extra work. And sometimes I feel like I'm only supposed to do a sketch, or I'm only supposed to do like a drawing, or maybe finish that illustration, And I time myself because this is what I'm being paid for. Like I'm being paid by hours, so I'm only gonna spend this amount of hours, But I found this to be only efficient for your own finances and maybe health, because sometimes you have to sleep. But if you are willing to put extra effort and extra work into something that you already believe is finished, then it can only get better. You have to be careful though, not to overdo with details. And I'm not talking about adding more details. I'm talking about refining what you've already done, right? So for instance, again, like changing proportions here on the arms, or maybe refining some of the lines that you've done, all those things will eventually make your image feel and read better, So like if you would make those lines way less thicker and maybe keep the thickness of lines only in places that matter, it would read totally different, as an image. So, or maybe you would want to experiment with custom brushes and see if you can add some kind of artistic twist to it, Because there's one thing to design and create clarity for the design. It's another thing to create a presentation. Those are two separate things in my book, That's why there's a difference between being an illustrator and the difference between being illustrator and concept artist. Concept artist is supposed to create designs and functionality for everyone else to work with. Illustrator's work is to make things beautiful, just illustrate. So
yeah, great.
Cool.
Yeah, and and one more thing. So you said basically you was like an illustrator for a long time, and then, as I understand it, your visual library grew and grew, and you became kind of good at design, right? But for example, there is a style which you never drew before, and you have a client who needed particular techniques to study some particular things, how it works, and I don't know, in terms of studies and filling your head with stuff, right? So how would you approach it?
So one thing I always try not to do is put work in my portfolio that I'm not proficient with, or something that, well, it depends. Actually, it depends on how you look at it. So for one, you don't want to pick up on work that you don't fully understand, or it could be possibly too challenging to complete, you know? So when you get a client to ask you to work in a style that is different to what you normally do, unless that it's if it's an expectation that comes with a contract, right? Then you can always say no,
Yeah.
because like you can say, look, this is the style I work with, and you're being completely honest, because this is your portfolio. When it's like, imagine your portfolio is only things you see in your portfolios are illustrations of environments, right? Or environment designs. Yeah. And then you're getting approached by a client to create a vehicle design. That's a totally different realm. And you can say yes, but when you decide to say yes, always give a caveat and say, I've drawn some vehicles in the past. If you did, if you didn't, then say like, I've never drawn vehicles in the past. So keep that in mind, if you wanna work with me. Because the worst thing you can do is set up expectations to a client. And because when you say, okay, I know how to draw vehicles, I've done it before, the expectation of his will be, okay, when I see your environments, that's the quality I'm gonna expect from your vehicles too. And you don't want to be in that position, because you're gonna have to either work yourself to death to create something that will meet those expectations, or you will fail and lose a client. It's better to say, hey, I've never drawn vehicles. I can help you with environment design. If you want me to work on vehicles, just bear in mind that it's not my expertise. But if you don't want to do that, I know a couple of friends that can do that for you. And that's a better way to approach client and say, I know people that can deliver the highest quality of vehicles and you'll be happy with them, rather than trying something with a person, like trying with me and saying, okay, let's draw vehicles together, even though I haven't done it before, So I personally try to avoid doing those kind of assignments. I had some emails like that where people would ask me, hey, can you work with me on this? And I said, yes, I can, but this is not my expertise, So I will try my best, but this is not my expertise. And when you set that expectation, then you know that it's going to be easier to work with that client. And then normally I would say, I know person who knows it better, and I can refer that person to you. And it's going to be better for you, because one thing you want to avoid is wasting money, for a client. And client approaches you because he likes his work, and he if he doesn't see that particular thing that he's after, he might be imagining that maybe it's not in your portfolio, but maybe that's something you do personally. In majority of cases, clients will not approach you to do work outside of what they see that you already do, So you also have to be selective on what you post in your portfolio, If you want to be a person that can do everything, that's fine. You can do that. But if you want to be a person that is for environments only, just post environments only. And that way you're going to avoid having those clients coming up with like, let's draw a helicopter, even though you don't know how to draw helicopters, So, yeah, that's my approach.
Amazing. Thank you. Yeah.
Cool. I have
very helpful.
I have Elias Star Wars here. It's awesome, though. Let's discuss it. Before I do that, I'm just looking at chat because there's a few questions here. I want to answer real quick. Can I take a 3D model and drawing accessories on it for concept art to be more fast? Yes, of course. You can use any tool you want, and as long as you're creating something that looks good. And for instance, when I draw characters, when I'm supposed to draw characters, I either gonna use photos to help myself, or I'm going to use DAZ 3D, because it just makes work faster, especially when I work for clients. If I want to experiment with something, if I want to do something for myself or draw something for myself, I will do it different way because I want to challenge myself. But if I'm working for a client, I'll use any tools I need to use to create the art that I need to create. I don't limit myself. Oh, I'm only gonna work in 3ds Max. No, if Moto is better, I'll work with Moto for that thing. And I had a couple of situations where I just had to drop 3ds Max because Moto had replicators and I had to work with replicators. So that's how I would approach it. What else was there? Let's see. How can I use Wacom tablet? Please tell me any exercise or something like. So chainsaw. So there's a few things about tablets and drawing with tablets compared to like mouse and actually compared to even paper. One, when you draw on paper, you feel the structure of the paper is different. The precision of your line is going to be obviously better because it's a physical thing. And on the tablet, the surface of a tablet or the surface of the Cintiq is very smooth, right? So when you draw, it feels like skating on the screen. It could be depending on what you're used to. It can be good or bad thing. If you're used to drawing with a tablet like I am, it's actually a good thing because it's way more effortless, and I can just draw lines without feeling the surface beneath my hand. And I actually like that personally, But I also find it refreshing when I do my art habit sketches, drawing on paper, which makes it, a little bit of different experience. I know it's like a very, very base level talk, but I feel the importance of those differences is very important. I know quite a few artists that are very good at traditional art, but they don't want to switch to use tablets or use Photoshop just for that reason because it feels totally different. It's a totally different experience when you work on tablet, when you work on whether it's Cintiq or any other tablet, or when you work on Cintiqs or Intuos, or if you use iPad. The new iPad Pro, by the way, with pencil is freaking amazing. Just saying, I'm not getting paid for it, but I fucking love it. So, but it's an experience that you need to just keep drawing. I would say, like if you just keep drawing and keep doing it, you'll get used to that medium. It's like with any other medium. When you draw with pencils, it's totally different experience than drawing with pens or ink, because there's different rules to how pen behaves versus how pencils behave. When you paint with gouache or oils, it feels totally different than drawing, obviously, right? Because there are different rules. Whoa. And it's the same thing with digital media. Exactly same thing. Whether you do it with mouse and be mouse boss like Craig Mullins, he used to draw with mouse his first sketches, which is, I'm like, holy fuck. Or if you use Cintiq or Wacom Intuos or iPad or any other digital medium, it's an experience that you have to kind of go with. Like, you just have to put enough time to get used to it. Everyone goes through that period when you first grab a pen and start drawing on a screen or on into a surface. Every artist I know has the same dilemma, and it just takes time. All right, let's get on your work, Elias. Let me see what I can do here.
Yeah, so it's still a work in progress, but wanted to see what you thought about it.
So for one, you have to think about the balance of the composition, and right now what I see is the composition feels a little bit of unbalanced. Mainly because your point of focus, point of interest is very close to the border, or closer to the border than it would normally be if you'd use a rule of thirds, you know? So let's, if you would just crop the image differently like this, it would probably feel a little bit better balanced. Whoa. Let me just do something like this. You know what I mean? Or if you want to keep the composition or the aspect ratio and the position of the character as it was before, what you would want to do is you would want to have something that is in this proximity here that is much stronger than it is right now. So maybe I'll maybe just do like a trick like this, duplicate and change the contrast. Let me use a different brush here for erasing. And like maybe just getting a little bit of more contrast here. What else could be done is you could actually make it so that there's a sunlight right behind this mountain here. So what you would do is you could take like, for instance, a dodge tool, or actually this could be better. Just duplicate and so you kind of increase the contrast there, you know? So there's a better balance between, and then your, you know, your TIE fighters could be a little darker too. That's probably too dark. But what I would do is maybe add that, you know, light that is hitting the bottom of it. Just a little more contrast in general, you know. But what I would do normally is I would like to, when you press C, which is for crop, and you start, you know, cropping experience, I would say I would probably move this character a little closer to that edge here. So like probably here. Do you see that trick? Damn.
Yep. Damn, man.
Yeah, so
good.
Yeah, you can use content-aware move, which is right here. It's called a content-aware move tool. It's pretty rad. And I guess a little bit more color, but I don't know. Like he's not his lightsaber is not on. So, and I think like if his lightsaber would be on, it would probably
I still have to do that.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if you should try, because it could look really awesome, you know.
Yeah.
But it could also take away from the way it feels. But if you decide not to, I would say maybe he should be less intimidating in terms of how he stands, you know. Like maybe this kind of works better. A little more wind or something like that. But yeah, I mean, just kind of playing around just to see what, and probably this arm would have to be fixed too. It's work in progress though, right? So I know you're
Yeah,
gonna
no,
add
it's
like
work.
a lot of details here. Obviously, the cape probably would catch. This is not a perfect solution here. It feels like a rim light, but I'm what I'm trying to do here is add like a little bit of that light here. Ideally, you would want to look for reference on a very similar lighting scenario, just to kind
Yeah.
of grasp like how much actually light would be on the cloth itself. Because the cloth itself, unless it's like leather or something or metal, if it's metal, then it's gonna be really harsh highlight, right? But if it's leather, you're still gonna have like a little bit of highlight. But if it's cloth, it might just be, a little different shade of the color, like a little different value, very slight difference in value, honestly. So yeah, so I would say that's it. I mean, obviously you want to work on that ground because it's very repetitive texture. Maybe there could be something really interesting
Yeah.
there. But the composition, just a little composition change like this, maybe the snow itself could, like this could go a little further like this. Also that smoke that you added here or a mist, I would play with that too. It feels too scattered. It almost feels like something is burning rather than
Oh, that was actually really there. That's from the photo. I liked it,
Oh,
so
okay.
put it there. But
Well, fuck me, I guess.
yeah, no, I mean, I see what you said. No, 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 no.
Nah, I'm joking.
That's not what I meant. Sorry.
No. Yeah, I know you didn't. I'm just playing. Cool. So yeah, it's the only things I would change. It just doesn't feel like it belongs there, unless you get a little bit of that smoke somewhere else too, or mist
Yeah.
at that point. So let's go and use it here, maybe. Oops. Like you just suggest that there's way more of that. And that could be actually an interesting thing where it's almost like there's a lot of that mist here, and and the ship in the background is just sort of being revealed.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I play
Yeah.
with it, around with it. Like, ever since the MVC you made us do in your class,
Mm-hmm.
I noticed I really liked doing it, but I wasn't very good at it. So
Right.
ever since then, I've just been just
By
practicing.
the way, that
So like, I
term,
want to do at least one per week now.
cool. That term,
Yeah.
I just made it up.
Ah,
I just found it's gonna be funny to use and interesting to use. Normally everyone calls it just photo bashing, because it is
oh
just
yeah,
photo
I heard it.
bashing, but I just generally like to. I think it makes sense.
No, it
Um,
does.
cool. So yeah, and I'll
But yeah,
play with those snow patches here. Maybe there's more on top. Just kind of bring a little bit that mountain here that you have here. Just bring it up a little bit more, and maybe make a connection here, where it's like it's a range that kind of goes across. It doesn't just disappear in the mist.
hmm
Just a continuation. I feel like this already will give you a little better composition, a little better balance in the composition, especially when you made it so it's like fading away. So you get to have a little bit of that. It's a it's I don't know if to call it a aerial perspective. Damn English.
yeah, like atmospheric or something
Yeah,
like that.
atmospheric perspective. Yeah, pretty much. But just generally showing a little more layers, very slightly. Even if you're adding like a very slight um, value changes, you're still suggesting depth in the environment. So,
Sweet.
yep, cool. I'll save that.
Yeah,
I
thanks,
guess
man.
that's it. We've run through. We spent about an hour, and cool. I know there was some few more questions here. I'm just gonna look at them real quick. So Darf2352, is your environment class for beginners too? Yes, absolutely. I'm trying the thing I've learned from the first course, which is more advanced, more of a, for intermediate and up, because it requires you to have a little bit of knowledge on how to create with, use Photoshop. And if you're not using 3D, it can be really challenging because you have to spend a little bit more time on learning the basics, which I've experienced from my students. But I try to do my best to help. And these streams here are one of the reasons I'm kind of want to do a little more on that front to help you guys a little more. But yeah, it's definitely for everyone. Let me see. When you render things out, do you overlap brush strokes or just focus on an area? I have trouble getting details. Actually, let's show your work. Let's see. That's from Samuel Martinez. What I would say is what you need to work on when I'm looking at your work here. You need to work on different sizes of brushes that you use. Right now, it looks like it's only one size of a brush. You need to work on different brushes that you use because if you just use one brush for everything and it's going to be exactly same size, it's gonna feel like it. Basically, think of it as especially when you paint, think of it as painting, like oil painting or something. And when you would do oil painting or any kind of painting, you would make bigger brush strokes for what is in the background, and then use smaller brushes as closer you get to the foreground, because that's when you start to see more and more details. So I would pretty much approach it that way, the different brushes and think of just generally looking at the whole image first, and then the more you work on it, the more details you add, and the sort of closer to the camera details you're gonna get. Let's see. I'm just gonna spend a couple of more minutes here, and gonna have to finish the stream. But we're gonna do more of those. So, okay, let's see if there are more questions. John is not here, so I'm kind of have to scroll myself through the stream and see if there was more questions. If I missed something, don't worry. You can always come back to the next one. I'll try to answer all of the questions or most of the questions. Andre, yes, you will be able to watch it later. I'm actually recording it separately to upload it on YouTube, and so I will have it upload. We will have it on YouTube as well, and that's the plan. Like we wanna do those Twitch streams more often, and we'll see how it goes, obviously. But the plan is to do those streams and record them and put them on YouTube as well. So, and this is going to be, by the way, archived on the live stream as well. We actually have a turbo subscription here too, so it's not gonna disappear after, I believe it's 3 months when it stays in archives. With the turbo subscriptions, it just stays there. And I guess, are these streams going to be in addition to the archived mentorship videos and Learn Squared? No, they are different. They're just separate thing that I'm just doing on my personal time for the students that already are in the professional mentorship. So if you're signing for a professional mentorship, you will be able to join those meetings. Possibly, I might do maybe some time to time, not too often, obviously, but time to time, invite more people, outside of the Learn Squared as well. Why not? But again, it's too far away to say anything and put anything in stone. But there's no need to archive those because they are going to be free for everyone to watch. So they don't need to be archived on the site. Anyways, for future streams, should we direct post work to be critiqued in chat? Yeah, so generally, for now, it's just people from professional mentorships, whether it's a past mentorships or the ones that we're gonna start running really soon. They're on sale right now. All of those people that are in my class, and I believe in some of the other classes, we're gonna have a lot of those streams going on as well. But again, I have to confirm with other instructors if they want to do that or not. But I'll personally do it, whether it's weekly or bi-weekly or once a month. We can figure it out as we go. One thing I'm trying to do personally is because I'm right now splitting time between schoolwork, so Learn Squared, and client work. Once I get to a point where I don't have to do that, then obviously we'll have much more of those. So anyways, let's wrap it up for now. Thanks guys for coming. Thanks for everyone who's watching, and you guys, my students. Thanks for coming and thanks for showing up. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
No worries.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Cool. All right, guys. Till the next time.
See you.
Yep. See ya.
Peace.